Alright, well hello. Have some of your favorite music or songs inspired you to want to play bass? Then this is the video for you. You're going to get 6 bass beginner lessons starting with the bass guitar fundamentals, the easiest way to learn bass, coming up right after this. Alright, well if you don't know me by now, I'm Donald Witt, the bass instructor of the How to Play Bass online course at iwanttoPlayBass.com. Subscribe over there, become a member for free, and get your free ebook on setting your bass up to you. Setting your bass up for success. It goes over everything from adjusting the fret nut, the pickups, the bridge, everything about this, the neck relief that you need to know to customize it to you, what you like, your action, higher or lower, setting that however you like it. So check that out. Subscribe there, get that for free, and you'll be on your way to getting your bass set up to you, because these are all subject to each of us, how we like to play them. So get that and become a member for free. Get lots of tips and new releases on video lessons that are coming out and stuff like that. You'll be the first to know. And also subscribe. Hit this little subscribe button right here and hit the bell notification. You'll be notified because I'm putting out lots of video lessons. And leave a comment down below. Let me know what kind of bass you have. Just curious about the majority of bass owners, what they own and what they like. So just leave that comment down below. What you got, Ibanez, Fender, whatever, Schecter, whatever you have. Just leave that comment. Let me know. I'm just curious. All right, today's 6 lessons will be on the setup, the knowledge, the technique, and I have a fun warm-up exercise at the end of this video that's going to help you get better faster. Okay? So let's get started. We've got tip number 1, or lesson number 1, is going to be on tuning. You've got your bass, you just brought this bad boy home, and you want to play it. You got to make sure it's in tune. You can play it all day long out of tune. It's not going to help you out at all. So most likely you've brought it home and it's not in tune. If it is in tune, then about a week from now it's going to be out of tune. You're going to have to tune it. So the first thing you want to do is you're going to have to either, if you've got a keyboard around the house, electric keyboard, it's got an A, 440 hertz is what you want to tune that A note to, that A string to. And that's where you want to start with the A. So if you don't have a keyboard, just Google it on your computer, an A, tuning A, and something will be up. It'll give you a pitch on there that you can tune it to. So when you hear that pitch, you just take your A string, and if you don't know, this is a 5-string here. I've got a low B, a low E, A, D, G. If you just got a 4-string, your string's going to be E, A, D, G. Okay? You're just going to have those 4, E, A, D, G. Just forget about this low B for now. Everything's the same though. If you do have a 5-string, when I say how to tune this thing, it's all set up the same way. So this low B is just another string, your low B. And when I say low, I mean the deep note, the low note, not the lowest down here from top to bottom. This is going to be your low note right here. Okay? So with that being said, we've got E, A, D, G. Okay? Those are your 4 strings. Your lowest is E, your second is A, your third is D, and your 4th is G. So what you want to do, you take that A, and you take it and you want to match that A note, this A right here, to that A, that pitch you have, your tuning note that you have playing either on the keyboard or on the computer, whichever way you've got it. I've actually got it in my metronome, my app, a free app I've got on my phone that has a tuning. It has little tuning forks there. You just hit that and it comes up in A. It's a 440 hertz frequency. So I just hit that to tune that A all the time. Or you have an electronic tuner pedal. That's easier, but if you're just starting out, you're not spending a lot of money on a lot of equipment and stuff like that. So there's ways to do this cheaper. So that's what we want to do. We want to learn how to tune our own guitar. We don't want to rely on a pedal and not know how to do it. So, or how it works. So back to the A. We're on the A. Take this. Take your tuning. You got your tuning key, and that's your tuning peg, which your strings are wrapped around. And we just take that, and what a tip I usually do, if I hear the note, the right note that I want to match to, I hear the note, and I'll take it, and and I'll take it all the way down low. So like I say, the lower, when you loosen the string, it creates less vibration, creating a lower note. So I take it all the way down, and then I bring it up to the note I'm matching. So actually here's, I'm gonna just tune that back now. I've got the A here. 5th fret of the lower string is always the same as the open string, the next string above it, okay? So that's what I'll do right here. Mine's already in tune, so I'm just gonna do this so I can get that A back in the tune. What you can also do, and you'll do it after you get everything in tune, because it could be way out of tune when you bring it home. So you might have to really, you'll have to work on it initially to get it right. So that right there is right. So I've matched my A string to that A pitch. So now my A is in tune, right? So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to tune the D string. And this, the 5th fret, and this is a fret. These metal wires right in here on your neck board, this on your fretboard, that metal piece there, that metal piece, those are your frets, okay? So if anybody says go to the 5th fret, you're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 5th fret. The space in between the metal pieces is not a fret. That's just where your note's you're gonna place your finger. But this is the fret, okay? So you want to go to the 5th fret, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that note, that 5th fret right there, that note, when I note that, press down on that and make a note out of that fret, that is the same as that open string, that open D right there. On the A string, the 5th fret is a D note, and this is a D string. Open is your D right there. So you want to push down, push right there, and you're going to make sure that this open string and this note here, your fretted note, your 5th fret note, is the same sound. As you can tell, they are. If they were out of tune, you would hear it be wah, wah, wah. You'd hear it wavering. You could tell a difference. There's a difference there. But right now, it isn't. It's the same note. It's in tune. And like I said, one way to do it would take that and just lower. That's a little tip there. Always just bring it down. Just take it warm. Just take it down and bring it back into place, and you can really tell where you need to be. You can just simply do it. You hear this note here? Take your D string, and then you can bring it right back. You can hear it, and right there it is. So the same thing for the G string. On your D string here, your 5th fret, this is a G note right here. And your open string, your very highest pitch string, is a G. So these two need to match. So just pluck it as a chord. It's just out a little bit. So what I'm going to do is, can you hear it? There's a little wave in it. Very little bit out of tune. So you've got the D. So I'm going to... Okay, so that's how you tune it. Now we go to the E string. E string is a little different because now you've got to do a little reach here, because now the string you're tuning is actually the fretted string. So it's makes it a little different, but it's no big deal. You still just take your A string right there. That's what you want to match. That sound right there. And just take it. You can actually let that A ring. Then you bring it right into place. Then play them together as a chord. There you go. Very little wobble. So just a smidgen. Right there we go. Same thing. Now, like I said, this is a B string. This is my, same thing with the B string. If you've got a 5 string, then the same technique. 5th fret is the same as your open E string. Okay, so that's tuning. That's the tuning in a nutshell. And another little tip, harmonics. You can take the 5th fret, and the 7th fret of the string, the highest string, and you want to make sure there's no wavering in there. That means you're in tune. And typically, a little bit right there. first time, once you think you've got everything tuned, go back through and just do that little technique right there. Now, if you don't know how to make a harmonic, just lightly touch the string above the fret. Don't press the string down, just touch it. Just touch it. Don't press it down at all. Just touch it to kind of restrict it from vibrating its natural vibration. That's a harmonic right there. And then you just want to go down the 7th fret and 5th fret. Should sound the same. It should be the same note. Okay, so that's tuning. That's tuning in a nutshell. Now, lesson number 2 is going to be how you're going to wear this on your body. It's a heavy instrument, and sometimes the headstock seems to be a little heavy. So we've got to just set it up to where it's natural, it's not moving anywhere, and we've got the best position for us. Because the last thing we want to do is be holding this neck up while we're trying to play. We're not doing that at all. We're simply free here, and we just are able to play the notes. Okay? So this is the best position. You want this bass across your torso right here, to where if you're practicing sitting down and then you practice standing up, it's still in the same position. You're still practicing. It's not like you're relearning your instrument just because you're standing up now or because you're sitting down. So it's going to be there the whole time. It's not going to be there. And this is the best position. This is where you're going to get the most effectiveness out of your hands playing. Because if you've got it too low and you're overextended, you got it way low and you overextended on your plucking hand, it's not natural. You're not going to be able to, it's going to stretch some tendons and stuff that's not natural. And this hand here is going to be all bent up like that, and you're not going to be as fluid right there with how you play your notes. So your best position, you want this wrist here, you want it pretty much straight if possible. You want it, might have a little curve to it, but a little bit's all right. For the most part, it's straight, and you're able to play these. You're going to get the best out of your fingers. Your fingers are going to be free to do what they need to do in this position here. And your playing right here is going to be in the best position as well. And a little tip, that when you're setting up and you've got your, I don't know if you can see, it's kind of dark. You plug your input here, your cable into your input here, run it through the inside of your strap, and then it's just right there. So you can play, you don't have to worry about stepping on your cable and it coming unplugged. You're not going to step on that. It's not going to come out like that. You run it through your strap right there. So usually take the end of it, run it up in there, up in between you and the strap, pull it out, and then plug it in. That way it's secure there. It's not going to come out. It's not going to come out at all. So that's another fundamental that you've got to really work on. I know it might not look as flashy if you're playing rock and roll or you're a big rock star and you want to play down there, you're playing with a pick, then you can get away with it. You can learn how to play that, but you're not going to be as well-rounded a bassist as you're going to be limited to what you can play on that bass if you set it up like that. If you've got your strap way low, yeah, it looks cool, but sometimes looking cool isn't the most effective way to play this instrument. You want it to learn to play this instrument, so set it up the way it should be so you can play it effectively. And you can open lots of doors if you can play more variety, versatile, because this is a versatile instrument now. It plays a low end, you can take solos, we can do a lot with the bass nowadays. It's evolved into that. So set it up to where it's going to work best for you. So that's lesson number 2. Now we're going to jump into knowledge. We're going to talk about the notes of this fretboard here, because that's imperative, and this is going to take a little memory. I'm going to show you where these notes are, but you're going to have to memorize. You're definitely going to have to work on these to know where these notes are in a moment's notice. So we've got the open E string. Like I said, if open string means it's open, there's nothing's being fretted. And you got E, you got F, and just remember there's 2 half steps. This is a half step. The half step is the immediate note right beside the other note, and we've got 7 notes. We've got That's all we've got. We've got 7 notes. We've got A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's all the notes you have to worry about. So pretty simple, right? But there's actually 12 notes because you've got sharps and flats. You've got 5 other notes that are either a sharp and a flat or a flat in there. And there's only 5 of them. So it's still not too crazy, not too complicated, but it's definitely takes a little time to learn it and get familiar with it. Just a little hard work on your end, and you can get it familiarized. And visualizing. One little tip that I do is visualize. I'll sit down like before bedtime, and I'll just visualize this fretboard, and I'll just picture the notes in my head right there, and that helps you out a lot. So visualization is key in playing this instrument or being a musician or doing anything. Just visualizing it first. Your thoughts are your reality. So just remember that, and it'll help you a lot too. So like I said, we've got 2 areas where we've got half steps. Everything else is a whole step. This is a whole step. It's where you skip a whole note. So that's a whole step. This is a half step or a semitone. You're just going right to the next note. Or it could be here. So we know that E and F are side by side. B and C are side by side. They're both notes that are only a half step away from one another. So we know we've got an E here, and we know that our F is right beside it. So it's a half step away. So right there's F, and then everything else is a whole step until you get to B or C. They're a half step apart. So we've got an easy way to do it is we just do the alphabet. You got E, F, and then we know next one's a whole step. G, next one's a whole step. A, B, whole step, and now we know B, the next note beside it is C, and that's a half step. Okay, so there's C, and then you got a whole step, D, and then you got a whole step, E, right there. Open E, and these 2 dots you got there, your bass probably has it somewhere on there. There's 2 dots at the 12th fret, and that's another E. That's an octave. That's an octave higher. The frequency is a little higher. And as you're pushing down here, it's creating this string to be shorter, a higher vibration, a faster vibration, giving it a higher pitch. So those are your notes. You're just going to have to work on that and figure it out. And and all these notes that you didn't play in between the whole steps, that's either a sharp or a flat. So it's either an F sharp. A sharp is a semitone higher than the note that it's calling out on, or a flat, which is a semitone lower than the note it's calling out on. So typically in the keys you've got F sharps. G flats are a little uncommon, but you'll have, so everything in between these notes, the whole steps, is a sharp or a flat. F sharp or G sharp. G flat. Hit this one in between A flat or G sharp. This one B flat or A sharp. And then this one's, that's a C because it's in between here, but in between the C and the D whole step, that's a C sharp and a D flat. And then the same thing here, in between D and E is an E flat or a D sharp. Okay, so it's the same thing. You go on A, it's the same thing, just count up. So if you've got A, you know that B is a whole step away because it's only half steps are B and C or E and F. So we know right there's A, so a whole step away from the A is B. And now we know C, so you can do that all the way down here. So that's how you're going to learn your notes, and that's how you're just going to have to work on that one. That's going to take a little practice, but just work on that, and you'll get there without a doubt. Like I say, visualizing that is key to getting started, the fundamentals, and that's just key to getting you started. Now, a little tip on this is going to be the sweet spot. The sweet spot, where you want to put your finger to get that sweet spot, that best sounding note that you can possibly get, is going to be right here, right at the fret. See, we are right there. There's the metal fret, and you want to place your finger right there. You can still get the same note here. You can get it in there, but right here is the sweet spot. That's where you want to position your finger. You're going to get a little less chance of it having fret noise or fret buzz, and it's just, that's the perfect note right there, right at that fret. That's where you want to play that note. Okay, so that is knowledge Now we're going to talk about technique and hand position. You know, just the basics, just the fundamentals. We're not going to dive too deep into it. Like I said, if you want to get real involved, jump over to iwannaplaybass.com, sign up, and get started on your way. You get a brand new lesson every single day on playing this instrument. And like I said, get your free ebook for sure. Just subscribe, get that free ebook, and set this thing up to how you need it set up and how you like to have it set up. All of it's right there. The whole 9 yards is right there. So now we're going into technique. Technique, lesson 1, tip 1 is going to be your hand positions, okay? So like I said earlier, having this set up, where adjusting your strap to where this is set up across your torso is going to give you the best hand position, and that's right here. You want this straight so your hands are freer to work, because if you do that, you can just see if your hand's bent, you can just see it's a little restrictive. If it's like that, it's not restrictive at all. So everything's good to go when you got your wrists straight. Now you're going to have a little bend in there, but that's going to be all right. It's going to be natural, and you can just adjust your elbow to get that straight. I mean, it's not a perfect world, but you can definitely make it and be very effective with it. Now another thing is, as simple as it might seem, or elementary as it might seem, is the placement of your thumb back here. You want your thumb about the middle of the back of your neck right there. You want it here so you're able to do that, and you got a good opening of your hand right here. So you're able to play and everything's just comfortable and feels good. So you want to keep your thumb here. You know, you're not mashing down here. And I mean, sometimes you'll see people that play over here, and that's fine. You can do it on occasion, but for the most part, the majority of the time, this is where you want your thumb, right here in the middle of the neck back here, and you're able to just slide it smoothly back and forth the neck here and up and down. As you go higher, you'll go a little lower. As you go to the lower strings, you go down there. So you're able to move it. You're mobile back here. It frees you up to keep your thumb like that. You're able to do it, and you've got the gap here that allows you to move your fingers freely. So that's your fret hand. Now your plucking hand, the safest way to do it is to keep, starting out, and a lot of times you might rest your thumb on that low string, the E string or the B string. I have to do it with this B string because on occasion, this bad boy, I can be playing up here, and if I'm not muting that B string, it'll just start rumbling on its own. So you've got to be careful of that. So this is the best position, is to just don't anchor your thumb anywhere. They make these thumb rests a lot of times that I think inhibit you. So don't get caught in that habit at all. Don't start that habit, and you won't have to break it. Just leave your thumb loose, and you rest it on the fretboard. on the strings right there. So you've just got it. So you've just got it rested right there. And I'm right now I'm muting that B string. It's resting on that B string. And then as I go to the A string, it's resting on the E string. So it's allowing me to keep those strings from humming while they're not being played. I can mute them. And it also keeps you, by doing that, your hand is staying in the same position when it's plucking. It's not moving. Like if you anchor your thumb here, maybe on your pickup there, each string is your hand is moving to a different position. So if you're like this, your hand stays in the same position. So you want to practice this here, keeping this thumb here, because that's going to be the most effective, and that's going to help you get better faster that way. Because just like I said, you start a bad habit, it's harder to break. You can break them, but they're a little harder to break once you start them. So don't start them, just do it like that, and then it allows you to, you're free. You're not stuck here. You can do your slap. And that's another reason for the strap being positioned here. I forgot, I missed that, but it's right here. When you're slapping, that's your best position, is your thumb is parallel with your strings. So that's another reason. If you've got it way down here, it makes it a little harder. Yeah, it's flashy and looks cool, and it can be done. You're going to practice like that. You're going to play like that all the time. So that's, it's not that it can't be done, but it's this is more effective. You strap up here. So back to your hand position. Once you free up your thumb from not anchoring it in one position, then it allows you to be more free across your strings over here to play different notes or play different styles as well. So that is the hand positions. Now, lesson number 2 of technique is going to be slow and steady. Just remember this: slow and steady wins the race. You take your time with this instrument, really hone in the basics and the fundamentals, and you will grow better. You will get better and better, and there will be no plateau. You will get better and better. As long as you have that solid, the basics, the fundamentals, that foundation down, you will grow better and better. There will be no limit. You'll be able to just keep getting better and better. You'll be able to learn the new styles that come out, the new techniques that come out, because people are doing stuff all the time. They're just like, wow, I didn't know you could do that. But yeah, they're there, and by learning the fundamentals and the basics, you can pick those up a lot easier than trying to break old habits to create these new habits. So slow and steady. So and now this one is critical because I'm going to show you the major scale right here. G major scale, G note, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, okay? Now when you're playing that major scale, you want to make sure that you pluck. As soon as you fret that note here, you're plucking it. You don't want to hear, unless you're doing hammer-ons or pull-offs, you don't want to hear this note get fretted and then plucking it. Unless, like I said, unless it's this part of the song and you're doing like a hammer-on or a pull-off, then it's perfectly fine. But if you're not, you want to hear, all you want to hear is that note. You don't want to hear this hammer and then this pluck. So you want to, these two got to be in sequence and simultaneously. So really take your time and just like I said, just take your time. You hear it and listen to that note you're playing. And this is probably the hardest thing to do, to refrain yourself from just jamming out and playing a bunch of notes. But this is what's going to make the biggest difference. You can do this for 10 minutes a day, every day. Focus on just that, and you'll get it, and you'll have the most pure sounding notes that you can think of. So that's critical. Slow and steady. Remember that. Just slow and steady. And like I said, your thoughts are your reality. This will happen. It's inevitable. If you keep that all in mind and you stick to it and stay with it, it is inevitable. You will get to where you want to go with this. And so that's everything. Now, like I said, I'm going to show you a fun warm-up here in a second, but another thing to practice is just the chromatic scale. We talked about the notes, all of these notes. Now this is a good one to learn just because it gets every finger working and you're not leaving anything out. And that's your chromatic scale. You go from, chromatic means every single note, all 12 notes are played in that scale. So that's it right there. Sharps, flats, unaccidented notes. Now you do that, or you can work on your plucking finger. Just all right, so you can do that, and that's another technique to help you get better. And go ahead and use your metronome. Just get the feel of the timing, that constant tick. Just get it embedded in your brain, that tick track going, because that's very critical. Now, okay, now for the fun stuff. This might be a little advanced, but it's a great one to know. Like I say, when I'm doing warm-ups, it helps. I'll do this all the time, every day when I'm warming up for a gig or something. I do this all the time. So all it is the G major scale, and I arpeggiate it. Okay, so that's the G major scale, and you can play it. So right there's the G major scale. Now we take it and we just arpeggiate it. Now I'm going to go through this kind of fast. I've already taken up 34 or 30 minutes of your time. I want to definitely get you to have this because this is fun. So G major scale has one sharp in it. That's an F sharp. So every note's G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. So everything's natural except for that F sharp. So just find that, and here's your basic pattern. Second finger on the G note, fourth finger on the A note, next string A string, first finger on the B, second finger on the C, fourth finger on the D. On the D string now, we've got first finger on the E, third finger on the F sharp, and pinky finger, fourth finger on the G again. Okay, so that's right there. Right there is our G major scale. That pattern right there. Now just take that pattern and just take and run it all the way up. So we know B, we know A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, G, F sharp, E, D, C, B, A, G, F sharp, E, D, C, B, A, G. So that's the start of it, running that major scale up 2 octaves. Okay, now another pattern, just work with it because you can do that anywhere. You don't have to just run up that G string like you do. You can run halfway up the A string, halfway up the D string, and then up the G string. Okay, so that's the G major scale. Now we arpeggiate. Each note of that is a chord of itself, so we arpeggiate it. This is a 7th chord, a G major 7 chord, and we just arpeggiate it. G, 3rd, 5th, and when we count the major scale, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. So each time when I say 1, 3, 5, 7, that means 1, 3, 5, 7. So that's a chord. That's a G major chord. It's got the 1st, the 3rd, the 5th, and the 7th in that chord. Okay. So we know that when I say 1 is the root note, and when I say 1 of the chord, it's going to always be that root note, whether we're on the G major scale or the A minor. The A minor arpeggio comes after the G major in that scale. So when we know that we say 1, 3, 5, it's always a 1, 3, 5. So we got 1, G, B, D, F sharp. Then we've got A, C, E, G. And then we've got B, D, F sharp, A. Then we've got C, E, G, B. And then we've got D, F sharp, A. So we'll do D, F sharp, A, C, and then we've got E, A, B, D. Then we've got F sharp, A, C, E, and then we're back to G, B, D, F sharp. Okay, and then we just come back down. Last lick, I'll just do the G, B, D, F sharp, and then G, 5, G. Okay, so hopefully you can get that. It's not, like I said, I've already got 30 minutes of your time going, so it's definitely something to work on for this. Those are great fundamentals for you to work on the next couple weeks. But next week I'll have another video, and maybe I'll try to keep it a little shorter than this one. But definitely that fun little arpeggio, that's a great warm-up exercise. I've been using it 4 years. And that just helps you get loose. I use it before a gig just to loosen up. All right, so hope you enjoyed it. And like I say, if you did enjoy it and you've got some value out of this, hit that like button for me. Help me help you. And I look forward to giving you all some lessons next week. Jump over to I Want to Play Bass. Check that out. Check out the Bassist Gear Corner too, a little store there. We've got everything you need. You can get that brand new 2019 Schecter J5 or J4 bass that just came out, and all of it right there. So I thank you all, and I'll catch you all on the flip flop. Bye now.